Aliyah Boston, 50% from the floor, 40% from three, 100% from the line, 34-12 in three with 2 blocks and a steal. She was amazing when she's playing confident, looking for her shot. 26 field goal attempts, that's something to key in on. She doesn't have nights like that often any longer, especially when you have Kelsey, especially when you have Caitlin. But there are some nights where she needs to take 18 to 20 shots because she is just that lethal and just that good around the basket.
That I make you drop a dime for, because my rhyme's cleaner than a 3-piece at time for. And now it is time for me to be back on my bully. This wrestling is fully, I'm back on the track.
Welcome into Splash as we talk about a historic night in the WNBA. Caitlin Clark and Aliyah Boston doing things that have never been done before as teammates. Paige Bueckers putting herself in elite company. Ryan Howard doing big things. Chelsea Gray doing big things. Jackie Young, and a little more. We're going to talk about all of it. We're going to talk about last night's historic night and a little bit more here on Splash, the women's basketball show with your host, Keenan Warner. And guys, before we get into this, if you don't want to have to keep up and look, sift, and watch everything, I'm here for you. Just hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell to know every time we upload, hit the like, comment down below, and let's get underway with talking about all this WNBA, because I'm watching every night. I am watching every single night, and it's nights like these for why I'm watching. 114 to 106. The Indiana Fever get a W. First teammates to have 30-point double-doubles in the same game ever. It's Aliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark. Does it shock you? No, it does not. 32-10 for Caitlin. Added in 7 rebounds. Aliyah Boston, 34-12. Both of these players have top 5 player in the league potential. Clearly, I think Caitlin is right now. I think Aliyah Boston's the 11th best player who is creeping up into that top 10 and might already be there from the last time that I did my rankings at the beginning of the year, pretty much. But Aliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark having themselves a phenomenal game. Stephanie White spoke post-game in the locker room. She said the connective positivity, the connective accountability, talking each other up, that is huge, y'all. We grew today. And they did. What a game. They got off hot early. And then the Chicago Sky fought back, and we're going to talk about the Chicago Sky a little bit more here in just a moment. But the Sky fought back, and it was a nip and tuck back and forth game that went to overtime because Sky Diggins does what Sky Diggins does and makes big time shots. But in overtime, it was the Fever, it was the duo, and then add along Kelsey Mitchell, the trio that got it done for the Indiana Fever. They shot similar from the floor, similar from the three, similar from the line. The Fever shot a little better, but the Sky shot a little more, so it pretty much evens out. They had 2 more points there, but it was the rebounding, it was the points in the paint, it was the physicality that the Fever were able to play with that led to them getting this W. And on the Fever side, Aliyah Boston, 50% from the floor, 40% from three, 100% from the line, 34-12 in three with 2 blocks and a steal. She was amazing when she's playing confident, looking for her shot. 26 field goal attempts, that's something to key in on. She doesn't have nights like that often any longer, especially when you have Kelsey, especially when you have Caitlin. But there are some nights where she needs to take 18 to 20 shots because she is just that lethal and just that good around the basket. She had a phenomenal night. Kelsey Mitchell with 19. It feels like an afterthought, but this is like, oh yeah, we just get this casual pretty much 20 from another player who was amazing and able to play defense, get in the passing lanes, get some steals, get out in transition. And then obviously we know one-on-one, she is just perfect. She is great in the one-on-one game. Lexi Hull didn't shoot great today, but obviously her defensive tenacity and rebounding is always going to be welcome. Caitlin Clark, 32, 7 and 10, 5 turnovers, which is really around her average, something that she can bring down, but 4 personal fouls within 40 minutes of gameplay. She didn't get in foul trouble early. When she doesn't get in foul trouble early, she's able to catch a rhythm. When she catches a rhythm, that's when she becomes one of, if not the most lethal offensive player in basketball. Then off the bench, you just have a little bit here and there. Hines Allen doing a little, KK Timpson doing a little, Dantas, Harris, Johnson. They all just did a little today, but today was about the big 2 and then really the big 3 when you want to add in Kelsey Mitchell. And on the other side, Sky Diggins played well. Azra Stevens 10, 9, and 6. Cardozo had 10 and 4, kind of neutralized throughout this game. 6 personal fouls will do that. Getting her in foul trouble was key. JC Sheldon playing good defense, 10 and 4. But you keep going down. Natasha Cloud didn't have the best of games for her. She's definitely capable of more, but she's always going to bring the tenacity, the fire, and the effort. You go down, you see 21 minutes, and you see 30 from Sydney Taylor. She had 27 against, I believe, the Tempo earlier this year. She has the capabilities of just these fireball games. And 10 of 14, 4 of 7 from 3, 6 of 6. If she can put it together, round it all together, she can be a lethal scorer, or at least lethal floor spacer and scorer, honestly, in the league for quite some time. But this was an amazing game. A fun game to watch. And again, history. Aliyah Boston, Caitlin Clark. First duo ever to put up 30 and 10, both of them in the same game. Also, I want to mention Caitlin Clark did tie a record today, or last night, I should say, which was 30 and 10 games. Most in FIFA history. So already doing that. She's probably going to break that at some point this season. Amazing. Also, a lot of hoopla around these shoes. I wanted to quickly mention it. These are the player edition Kobe's that she has in Taylor Swift line. She mentioned after, I'm a big Taylor Swift fan, and the Eras Tour is the best concert of all time. So she rocked these out. A lot of people were asking for them. She was like, nah, I got to keep these. This is her last player edition, though, that she said. So we're hopeful to see the Caitlin Clarks come out soon. We'll see what Nike has cooked up for that. But really fun. What a game. What a fun time. But I can't just stick on this game all day because there was more games that were in the WNBA. It was a great night of basketball last night in the WNBA. 80-75, the Wings get the dub. Paige 31, 6 and 5. Paige Bueckers made history last night, as she is now only the 10th player in WNBA history to record 30 points in a game without a free throw. She scored the most points she scored in a first half, which was 24. She really could have gone for 40. She did not look for her shot as much in the second half. She didn't really need to. Isaiah James got going a bit. AZ Fudd got going a bit. Jessica Shepard had 10 of her points, or 12 of her points even, in the second half last night. So the Wings as a unit got going, but Paige in that first half, she came out, set the tone, and after a tough loss to the Lynx, she came out and really dialed it up for the Dallas Wings. After the game, she spoke. She said a huge part of the league is all about response, talking about losing. I believe it was 100-76, lost by 24 to the Lynx. You can't let it be a habit. You can't let it be something you become accustomed to. I like the way we responded. And this is obviously coming from someone in Paige Bueckers who is not used to losing much. And then last year, she lost a lot. And so this year, with them actually being a good team, getting back in the fold, this is something that she is used to. She is used to winning at an extremely high level. So her responses to loss, you can tell that she takes it in a mature approach. They just play better than Phoenix, and Phoenix is trying to find their way, and they haven't really been able to this season thus far. But the Wings shot better from the floor. They didn't shoot great from three. Paige really was the only one that shot well from three. I think she had 3, and then AZ had the other 1. But Paige played phenomenal, and the other teams follow suit. Only 7 of 8 from the line. They really were getting out in transition. They had 15 fast break points. They were getting to the paint, getting to the basket. 24 assists, 18 turnovers on the night for the Wings, so they want to get that turnover number down. But they played aggressive, and on the other side, Phoenix just could not catch a rhythm, especially in that first half. The second half, they started to catch one. Third quarter, they got a little bit going in the late fourth when it was already out of hand too. But overall, the Wings just pretty much dominated this game front to back. 31 for Paige, 14 of 20, 3 of 5 from 3, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, as we've mentioned. Jessica Shepard doing what Jessica Shepard does, 17, 10, and 7. Stat sheet stuff for 0 turnovers on the board. They won this game by 15, and Enrique gave them 2, but AZ gave them 17, 3, and 4. She has 1 steal, 3 blocks. She's been playing great defense. in a few years, she will be an all WNBA defensive player. Like, she's going to make a defensive team. Plus, also, she can definitely make an all NBA or all WNBA second team. Maybe not a first because of how many people are there. But just amazing what AZ's been doing so far. I know a lot of people are comparing to Olivia Miles because Olivia Miles has been better. And maybe Olivia Miles might be the better player, and the Wings could have got Olivia Miles and Paige Bueckers. But Paige and AZ, the efficiency they're playing with, the defense that AZ has with what Paige already does, I think AZ fits Paige better than Olivia Miles does at this point in time. And one thing I want to quickly say, this doesn't really happen in the WNBA like that. I might look at trading Arike, and it has nothing to do with her talent. She just put up 30.6 rebounds, 6 assists a couple games ago. It has nothing to do with her talent. It's the fact that you have Paige, you have AZ, and Isaiah James off the bench has been playing really well for them. You got a Walker Kawir, you got Leah Rue, you got Alana Smith. Leisha Clark. You've got enough depth. You've got enough rotational pieces that kind of fit in. The one thing they're missing is a legitimate defensive stopper for that starting lineup, because I like Alana Smith off the bench. And they still have enough firepower off the bench. And plus, obviously, the way they play and they rotate. Not going to be many minutes. You're not going to have AZ or Paige on the floor. I just think that if you were able to trade Arike and get a player, I don't think you'll be able to get this player, but a player like Gabby Williams, a Swiss Army knife who can play defense, who can still get a bucket, those type of players there. I think that could be huge for this team. I don't think it will happen. They can win with Arike because she's amazing. But the Arike trade's another topic for another day. Maybe I'll come up with a few trades. We can talk about it there. But let's go on the other side real quick. Kahleah Copper, 13 points, 3 of 10 from the floor. Alyssa Thomas hasn't been playing at the same level offensively as she typically has throughout, but she still had 9 rebounds and 10 assists because of Alyssa Thomas, and she always has those spark games. Lexi held off the bench, played well for this team, but overall, they're just still trying to find their way, and this might be just one year where they get a draft pick next year who plays really well. They can rework things in the offseason and come there. But they might be able to turn it around. They have enough talent. We'll see. But a team who has turned it around from their sluggish start has been the Liberty. The Liberty are on fire right now with a great win over the Atlanta Dream. And in this game, it was a complete team effort. You had Stewie with 19, 11, and 5. You had Johannes, who had 17 herself. You had Jonquel Jones, 16, 10, 5, and 3 blocks. That's a fine WNBA Finals MVP there. You've got a Steer who had 16, 8, and 5. And then you had Satu Sabali, who had 19 points, 5 threes, 3 rebounds. They just have so much firepower, and when they add back Sabrina Ionescu, you're just gonna, what are you gonna do with this roster? So this team's starting to find its form, the healthier and healthier it gets, as we all expected them to, but early on, they were not playing consistent. They've been playing consistent basketball as of late. And on the other side, Angel Reese had a really good game. We'll talk about her a little bit more in a moment. But Ryan Howard, 400 career threes, youngest and fewest games in WNBA history to do so. Ryan Howard is a problem. Drafted in 2022. We talk about all the first-round picks. We think of, Aliyah Boston. We think of Caitlin Clark. We think of Paige. Obviously, AZ this year. Ryan Howard was just the year before that, and she is amazing. Doesn't get enough publicity when talking about her, but she is just a great basketball player. The Liberty, efficient, 54 from the floor, 52 from 3, 16 threes made, 86 from the line. And then the Dream, they couldn't shoot well from the line at all, 56%. You're not going to win games when that's the case. They tried to keep it close, but the Liberty were just getting too many clean, easy looks late in game where the ball was moving. They had 24 assists on the day, out-rebounded the Dream, and obviously they have Angel Reese, so that is a key. But overall, when you have Jonquel Jones and Breanna Stewart, you still got your rebounding there. They led for most of this game, and it was really the three-point line and the free throw line that killed the Atlanta Dream in this game. But again, 5 players who had 15 or more, and then from there, Phoebish had 6. You had Gardner who had 8, and then Carrera who had 3. And other than that, it was just play, hey, can you go in there, play some defense, play hard, play with effort? And that's what the Liberty did. And when the Liberty do that, they're going to be as scary as any team in the WNBA and as tough of a team to beat. And on the other side, Angel Reese, 22 shots, but she had 25 points and 9 rebounds with 3 assists. Alicia Gray had only 1 3, but 18 points on efficient shooting. And outside of that, Ryan Howard wasn't efficient, but she was good today. Jordan Canada didn't have one of her best games, and they didn't really get much production from their bench in this game. But one thing I want to quickly mention, we mentioned Caitlin just barely. We mentioned Paige Bueckers just barely. We mentioned Angel Reese. All that 2020 high school class that I've personally, not that I've said it on here, but I've personally said forever, it's going to change the W and change women's basketball for the history of history. We're going to do a deep dive on that 2020 class here just at some point. I don't know when that exactly is going to be, but we're going to do a deep dive on that class, especially because all 3 of those players I just mentioned are playing well this year. And then that's not even to mention Cam Brink and others who were in that class. So we're going to have a conversation about that specific class here at some point. But right now we need to have a specific conversation about Chelsea Gray and what she did last night, because she broke records last night. Chelsea Gray, in a 105-89 win, decided to make the most threes in a single game in franchise history with 9, because Chelsea Gray just can do that. That's the thing about the Aces. They are so good because Chelsea Gray does things like this, and she's not one of their 2 best players on the roster, because we obviously know what Asia is doing, because it's Asia Wilson. She's the best player in the W, inarguably. We all know that. And then there's this Jackie Young girl that they have who's been on a heater, 13 double-doubles. She's 10th most in franchise history. So she has moved into the top 10 for that, and she has been amazing. And Portland, they play hard, they play well, they play tough. But the Aces just showed to be a little bit too much for this young Portland team. And Asia Wilson, 32, 5-4, not even one of the 2 people we mentioned first. It just shows how good she is. She led the way in scoring, and she wasn't the most memorable person on the night. Jackie Young, 18, 8, and 10, 2 rebounds away from a triple-double. Chelsea Gray, 10 of 15, 9 of 13 from 3. Just a flamethrower. Nalissa Smith has been playing really well. Stephanie Talbot's been playing really well for them. Kennedy Carter, only 8 minutes. She started off the year so hot. It's been a little bit of a downslope, but you get that kind of emotional roller coaster with Kennedy. But when she's high, she is super high. When she is low, she can get down to that low. It's kind of why she fell out of the WNBA. She is just such an interesting player and an interesting person for the W and the way things go. So it's something that's going to be there to note. Jewel Lloyd has been playing role player, which is shocking just because in Seattle she wasn't a role player, but she went from being in the starting lineup last year to coming off the bench, and she was fine with that. She has her games where she gets really hot from 3. She plays well defensively, and she's kind of found herself into being a role player, and she's fine being in that role because now she is a role player on a champion rather than being one of the 2 or 3 best players on a team that wasn't a champion. So at the time, that is, she has won a championship in her past. But let's talk about what Portland did on their side. 13 points from Bridget Carlton, 17 from Megan Gustafson. You've got 14 from Sarah Ashley Barker, who was playing really well early. Carla Late had 18. I like what this team has. This team is one kind of just star away. If they could get a good draft pick this year, I don't think they're going to because they could make the playoffs, but if they kind of fall off and they were able to get a good draft pick, or maybe they hit the lotto and they get a Juju to add to this Portland team, oh my God, this team would be nasty, especially with what they've been doing outside. So I like this Portland team. They play with with pun intended, fire, and they just have been playing really well all season. They have been fun. But guys, a historic night in the WNBA. That is the games of the night with the historic night. Ryan Howard, 4th all-time in Dream points, 25-8. Ryan Howard, fastest and youngest to 400 career threes in WNBA history. Chelsea Gray, most threes in a game in Aces history. Jackie Young, 10th all-time in double-doubles for the Aces. Paige Bueckers, 6th fastest to 900 points, 48 games. Caitlin did it in 47, so it's close there because obviously you know those two have to be talked about because they're going to be synonymous forever. Paige Bueckers, 10th player to record 30 without a free throw. Caitlin Clark, tied for most 30-10 games in Fever history. And then Aliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark, first ever teammates with 30-point double-doubles in the same game. Guys, this was all on one night. This was all on one night. Just a random Thursday in June. I love it. I love it. And things like this are going to continue and continue to happen. 2 30-10s, that's tough. That's tough and that's fun. Like, this is just going to continue to happen because the talent's going to only go up and up, and the players are only going to get better and better the more and more that they care, we care about them, they get money fused into the league. So just amazing. But we did have Tuesday games, we did have Wednesday games that did go on that I want to quickly talk about because they happened, and I haven't been here to talk about them since. You got the Dream, who beat the Sky, played another close game in the fourth quarter. The Dream were able to pull away 17-17 for Angel Reese. Jordan Canada had 14. Alicia Gray had 14. Ryan Howard had 17. Nas Hillman had 16. This was really a starter game for them. And then on the other side, you had Cardozo with 13. Sky Diggins with 17. Cloud off the bench with 18, playing more like herself in this game. 0 turnovers in it. But the Sky just weren't able to combat how good the Dream are, and Angel Reese has been playing great in her return to Chicago. First time she's played in Chicago since being on the Dream. You've got the 100-76 loss for the Wings, where they just didn't show up early, and the Lynx, I should say, did not allow them to get back. Olivia Miles, 24-7-6, looking like arguably one of the best players in the W. Like, she's wanting to be all WNBA first team, and again, a couple episodes I said she was MVP watch. She's legitimately on MVP watch this early. If she's going to continue to win games at this level, and she's going to continue to put up stats as she is right now. I mean, on the year, she's averaging 18, 5, and 6. If she gets that up to 20 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists, my lord, easily MVP level numbers for the WNBA. But they also had Kayla McBride with 22 in that game. Courtney Williams was an efficient 16 in that game. Natasha Howard with a very efficient 8 of 10, 21 in that game. This team, when they're rolling, even without Nafisa, this team is borderline championship contender. With Nafisa, they might mess around and just be the favorites. And then the last game, the Valkyries best, the Mercury. This game, Alyssa Thomas, better game than obviously the one we had seen just prior from her, but 22, 8, and 9 in this game. Kalia Copper only had 9 points, but Makani had 19. On the other side, Gabby Williams, 25, making big shots when necessary, and Veronica Burton, 25, making big shots, big plays. She also added 8 helpers in there. Salon off the bench had 11 as well. Kayla Thornton had 12. So good night for the Valkyries, a fun game there as well. And then on the Wednesday slate, a real fun game. We had the overtime game between the Tempo and the Sun. The Sun have been playing more and more aggressive, and they've been playing better basketball. Though they haven't been winning games, they have been playing with a little bit more pace, a little bit more energy and intention. So they have been more of a fun team to watch rather than just being a stepping stone for the league. Lacan had 24. Aaliyah Edwards had 24 in this game, played well, but on the other side, it was Marina Mabry with 21, Sabali with 15, and Brittany Sykes with 38. She just does this quietly. Like, this team just does this stuff quietly. Mabry and Sykes, the way that they're leading this team, they're going to be a playoff threat for those lower seeds, the 7th and 8th seed. And then the final game to talk about here, the Sparks did get a win. Gumake, 24. Kelsey Plum, 19 and 11. Hamby only had 6 points, but she did have 10 rebounds in the game. And on the other side, Flage, shout out to Flage, 14, 12, and 6, starting to fill the stat stat sheet, the more and more things go on for her, and the more the games go on for her. She's finding her way right now, averaging 12, 5, and 3. She's in there with that irrational confidence that she had talked about, and having to play with that to really believe that she belongs in this league, and clearly she does. The more and more she develops, the more and more of an all-star caliber player she will become. Heidemann had 16, Alfam had 12, Dominic Malonga 15, Horston had 11. This team is still starting to get more and more whole. Once Ezzy comes back, this team is going to be a difficult match. But that's the WNBA over the last 3 days. We had a historic Thursday night, and then we obviously had some really good performances. 38 from Sykes, 17 and 17 from Angel, just barely 14, 12 and 6 from Flage. Naneka had 24. A lot of other great performances. You're going to find a good to great performance from somebody on every single night that you have WNBA basketball. That's just how it's been going because the players are so talented. But again, guys, if you've gotten to this point in the video, why not just hit the subscribe button? Why not just click that there, hit the notification bell for every time we upload, hit the like, leave a comment down below. We want to get the discourse, we want to get the conversations of the W here going. But this has been Splash, the women's basketball show with Keenan Warner. I appreciate all of you guys very much, and I hope to see you guys again very soon.